Lisa, a resilient single mother, struggles to make ends meet while raising her two children, Danny and Mia, in a decrepit high-rise apartment. The building has a foreboding air, with flickering lights and peeling walls. One day, construction workers renovating the basement uncover a sealed compartment. Inside, they find an ancient book bound in flesh, the Necronomicon, and a set of old vinyl recordings. Danny, an adventurous teen with a fascination for the macabre, sneaks into the basement and retrieves the book and vinyls. Despite Lisa's warnings to avoid the ongoing construction, he brings them back to their apartment. That night, curiosity gets the better of him and he plays the vinyl. A chilling, otherworldly voice chants phrases in an unknown language, and as the last word echoes, the entire building trembles. The strange occurrences begin immediately. Lights flicker violently, and appliances turn on and off by themselves. Doors creak open in the middle of the night, and shadows seem to move on their own. Mia, Lisa's youngest, starts waking up with unexplained scratches on her arms and legs. Neighbors complain of hearing whispers and scratching noises in their walls. Lisa tries to calm her children, thinking it's just their imaginations running wild, but deep down, she feels an oppressive heaviness she can't explain. One night, Mia screams in terror, pointing at a shadowy figure lurking in her room. Lisa rushes in to comfort her, but the shadow vanishes before her eyes. Outside, the wind howls unnaturally, and the whispers grow louder. Mia's behavior changes drastically. She becomes withdrawn, staring blankly at the walls and mumbling words in an unfamiliar language. At times, she lashes out violently, her voice deep and guttural. Lisa tries to reason with her, but Mia's eyes flash with an unnatural yellow glow. Meanwhile, other tenants begin experiencing strange phenomena. One neighbor finds her cat mutilated in her kitchen, while another claims to have seen disembodied hands clawing at her windows. The building's superintendent vanishes without a trace, leaving behind only a set of bloodied tools. Lisa confronts Danny about the strange book and vinyls. He admits to playing the recordings but insists they were harmless. However, when Lisa touches the book, she feels a searing heat and hears faint screams emanating from its pages. In the basement, a handyman, Mr. Gonzalez, works late into the night. As he repairs a broken pipe, he hears faint whispers coming from the shadows. Thinking it's a tenant, he calls out, but no one responds. Suddenly, the lights flicker, and a grotesque figure emerges. A twisted amalgamation of human flesh and rotting decay. The creature attacks, dragging Mr. Gonzalez into the darkness. His screams echo through the building, but by the time anyone arrives, only a trail of blood remains. The tenants panic, locking their doors and windows. Lisa organizes a meeting to discuss the growing dangers, but the group is divided. Some believe it's a prank, while others insist the building is cursed. An elderly tenant, Mrs. Caldwell, reveals the building's horrifying origins. Decades ago, the land was owned by a cult that performed unholy rituals to summon dark entities. The cult was eventually destroyed, but rumors persisted that their most powerful artifact, the Necronomicon, was hidden beneath the site. Lisa pieces together the connection between the book and the strange occurrences. She realizes the construction work must have disturbed the artifact, unleashing the evil. However, when she tries to destroy the book, it seems indestructible, resisting fire and blades. One by one, the tenants fall prey to the evil force. They become possessed, their bodies contorting grotesquely as they transform into deadites. Their laughter is maniacal, their strength inhuman, and their thirst for blood insatiable. Lisa barricades her apartment, using furniture to block the doors and windows. Danny and Mia huddle close to her, terrified. They hear screams and crashes from other apartments as the deadites rampage through the building. A possessed tenant smashes through Lisa's door, its eyes glowing red. Lisa fights back with a kitchen knife, managing to drive it away, but not before it scratches Danny, leaving deep, bleeding gashes. The building itself begins to transform. Walls ooze with blood, and the pipes groan as if alive. The elevator becomes a death trap, crushing anyone who tries to use it. Lisa and her children are trapped on the 7th floor, unable to escape. The remaining survivors gather in one apartment, pooling their resources. They share terrifying stories of attacks and near misses, realizing that the evil is spreading quickly. One tenant, a resourceful teenager named Chris, suggests finding a way to reverse the curse. Lisa remembers the vinyl recordings and plays them backward, hoping for answers. The distorted audio reveals a clue. The only way to banish the evil is through a ritual involving the book, but it must be performed at the original site of the Necronomicon's burial. The group debates their options, knowing the basement is overrun with deadites. Tensions rise as paranoia sets in. Some believe they are already doomed and suggest waiting for rescue, while others insist on attempting the ritual. With no other choice, Lisa and the survivors prepare for a dangerous mission to the basement. They arm themselves with makeshift weapons, bats, knives, and pipes, and gather flashlights. The group knows the basement is a stronghold for the deadites, but it's the only way to perform the ritual and end the nightmare. As they descend the dark stairwell, the air grows colder, and an oppressive darkness envelopes them. The flickering lights barely illuminate the blood-stained walls, and the whispers grow louder with every step. Suddenly, a possessed tenant lunges from the shadows, shrieking with unholy laughter. Chaos erupts as the group fights to survive, barely managing to fend off the attack. When they reach the basement, the sight is more horrifying than they imagined. The deadites have transformed the space into a grotesque hive, with pulsating, fleshy growths covering the walls. Human remains are scattered everywhere, and the Necronomicon rests on an altar of bones. Lisa takes the book and begins to decipher its horrifying text with the help of Chris, who has a knack for ancient symbols. As they chant the incantations, the deadites become more aggressive, sensing the attempt to banish them. The group forms a defensive circle around Lisa, battling wave after wave of monstrous attackers. The basement trembles violently, and the ground cracks open, revealing a swirling portal of darkness. The ritual seems to be working, but the deadites become more powerful, twisting their forms into grotesque amalgamations of flesh and metal. Lisa struggles to maintain her focus as the screams of her friends fill the air. Just as the portal begins to draw the evil force inward, a massive deadite, larger and more terrifying than any they've seen, emerges from the shadows. It snarls, its glowing eyes locking onto Lisa as it lunges toward her. The giant deadite is too strong to fight, overpowering the group and injuring several of the survivors. Lisa realizes that the ritual requires more than just chanting. It demands a sacrifice. The Necronomicon glows ominously as if feeding on the fear and despair around it. Danny, wounded but determined, steps forward. "Mom, it has to be me," he says, tears streaming down his face. Lisa screams in protest, but Danny grabs the book and begins reciting the final passage. The portal flares to life, sucking in the giant deadite along with the rest of the hive. Danny is dragged toward the portal as well, his body glowing with a supernatural light. Lisa tries to save him, but Danny whispers, "Take care of Mia," before vanishing into the swirling darkness. The portal closes with a deafening roar, leaving the basement in eerie silence. The survivors emerge from the basement, battered and traumatized. The building is eerily quiet, and the oppressive darkness has lifted. Lisa carries Mia, who is still in shock, as they climb the blood-stained stairs back to their apartment. The remaining tenants gather their belongings and prepare to leave the cursed building for good. As they pack, Lisa finds a note Danny had written before the descent, apologizing for his mistake and expressing his love for his family. The note brings her both comfort and heartbreak. Despite the apparent victory, Lisa can't shake the feeling that the evil hasn't been fully destroyed. She notices subtle signs, whispers in the wind, shadows that move unnaturally, that suggest the nightmare may not be over. Just as the survivors begin to leave the building, the power cuts out, and a chilling wind sweeps through the halls. The Necronomicon, thought to be neutralized, begins to pulse with an eerie red light in Lisa's bag. Before anyone can react, the deadites return, more ferocious and cunning than ever. The group splits up in the chaos, each fighting for survival. Lisa and Mia race back to their apartment, barricading the door. The building itself seems alive, with walls that bleed and floors that buckle and twist. Lisa realizes the Necronomicon is the key. The evil will never stop as long as it exists. Lisa devises a desperate plan. She must destroy the Necronomicon, no matter the cost. She heads to the rooftop, hoping to burn the book in the incinerator. The journey is harrowing, with deadites ambushing her at every turn. Chris, now gravely injured, sacrifices himself to hold off a horde, buying Lisa precious time. On the rooftop, Lisa confronts the ultimate manifestation of the evil, a monstrous, demonic figure born from the Necronomicon's dark power. Armed with only a torch and her determination, Lisa fights the creature, her maternal instinct driving her to protect Mia at all costs. With a final scream of defiance, Lisa throws the Necronomicon into the incinerator. The flames engulf the book, and the demon howls in agony as it disintegrates. The building shakes violently, and Lisa clings to Mia as the evil force is finally banished. The building is in ruins, but Lisa and Mia survive. Emergency responders arrive, rescuing the remaining tenants. Lisa feels an overwhelming sense of relief, but also profound grief for the lives lost, especially Danny and Chris. As she and Mia start a new life far from the cursed apartment, Lisa vows to protect her daughter at all costs. However, in the final scene, as Mia plays with her toys, Lisa notices a faint whisper coming from her daughter's backpack, the same whisper that haunted the building. She opens the bag to find a charred piece of the Necronomicon, still faintly glowing. The evil hasn't been destroyed, it's only waiting.